Or this budget kickoff meeting for this Monday, this February 6th, 2023. Will the deputy clerk please take roll call?
Mayor Johnson,
Here?
Trustee Sipes,
Here.
Schmidt,
Here.
Kidd,
Here.
Wilson,
Here.
Bailey. Here. The deputy clerk is present, the attorney is present.
Deputy clerk has taken roll call, and we have a quorum this evening. Next would be brief financial overview. Finance and HR Manager Michelle Johansson.
Thank you, Your Honor. As he said, brief. The current state of village finances is strong. As you've seen in the monthly revenue graphs, revenues are generally in line with last year and higher than budgeted. Expenditures have remained within or below the budgeted amounts currently to date, and therefore we would anticipate a surplus for the current year. Speaking of snow, which everybody knows a little bit about, we've had an odd snow year so far this year. Believe it or not, before the most recent snowstorm, we already had 15 snow events, which is the typical amount that we budget for the year, but obviously we've had minimal accumulations. Mitch enjoys that, but therefore less cost in the past. But the last snowstorm we had was in line with normal amounts. So all that being said, typically the snow and ice control budget can impact the budget one way or the other. So right now it's all good. As far as the economic picture, that continues to shift. Post-pandemic, we have seen many changes. Interest rates, as previously reported, continue to rise. Unemployment has returned to moderate levels. Hiring remains difficult, but we have had success here locally. Many people have actually left the workforce for good to retire. Inflation remains elevated. In 2020, it was at 1.1%. 2021 was 7.5%, and this past year, 2022, just reported there was a 6% inflation increase. Supply chain shortages are still causing delays, as you've heard from our bracket that we're waiting on. But overall, generally, supply chain has come back, which is a positive. There remains talk of a possible recession, which some saying there could be a soft recession. Large tech companies are continuing to downsize. Housing sales have slowed. All of this to say, if you ask 3 different economists the current outlook, you'll get 3 different responses. But overall, the economy is generally in a better position than we were 2 years ago. As we start into the budget for the upcoming year, we just wanted to highlight a few quick items. Last year's revenues had some uncertainty due to changes in population. We had several legislative changes with sales tax and local use tax and income tax, and then also those positive possible impacts, amongst other things. But we're happy to report that the village revenues did fare well. We've had discussions with the board about planning for multi-year projects, so we will be providing a brief multi-year forecast of revenues and expenditures at the budget meeting. Obviously, a lot of assumptions will need to be made to adopt those, but we wanted to provide a clearer picture of where we anticipate things going based on the items being requested to purchase to ensure that we have the appropriate funding sources over the next several years. Also, as a result of the compensation study that was previously finished, there were several adjustments recommended. However, they will not have a major impact on the overall budget, but we do feel there are necessary changes to continue to retain and attract quality employees. Finally, a couple major projects to make you aware of being budgeted this year include the electronic codification of the village code, obviously the renovation of Village Hall and a police station, and possibly various equipment and vehicle replacements in public works. We welcome any input you have now. Otherwise, we will provide the proposed budget for your review next week, and then we will present on the items at the budget meeting on Saturday, February 25th. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay. Next would be 2023-2024 goals. James, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The list of draft goals you have before you are kind of a prologue and a general guide to our budget as we kind of move forward through the process this year. The goals that you have before you are drafted generally by staff members, department heads, staff members. We feel that the staff has the best insight on where their areas of expertise are going. However, we present the ideas, and we'd love to hear anything that you might have, any goals you might have for the village moving forward, or any critique of the goals that we presented to you tonight. We, as I said, are happy to have those discussions. Instead of reading all the goals to you tonight, I think I'll just kind of touch on a few of the newest ones. Generally, we maintain a lot of the goals that we have because they're ongoing goals and take some time to achieve. But let me just touch on just per department, a couple of the newer goals for you. Under administration and finance, we're going to take a look at updating our purchasing policy to streamline some of our procedures while maintaining accountability and transparency. I think we're tweaking our emergency preparedness goal to include disaster recovery training and then cybersecurity monitoring as well. Those are the only major changes from administration finance. Under public safety, improving compliance and safety and building positive relationships with businesses and residents continues to be a goal, and it needs to be a goal for the police department. Implementing community-oriented policing strategies to build trust with the community. That's with residents, that's working through the schools, that's working with businesses. And then, of course, we will be planning to see through the facility renovation plans, as Michelle had indicated. Our architectural plans are about 75, 80% the way through. So we're anticipating that we will have everything ready to go and bid in April. Does that sound right, Chris?
Yeah, I think we're aiming 3 weeks from now.
Okay.
To go away.
So that would put us in a position to start construction this summer, right, when we're in our new fiscal year. Yes, Trustee Kidd.
I have an interesting question. I'm sure Eric Beck would appreciate it. Are we going to hire union workers, or is it more important to hire local construction workers that are not union?
Yeah.
It's an interesting debate because there's several concrete companies, several framing companies that are local. We hire Ike. He's not a union contractor, but he's, we could hire union if we hire Siebert to do snow plowing, but we don't. So I think there should be a good mix of union and non-union or local workers, if we could. Just food for thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kidd. I think due to the value of the project, we're going to have to pay prevailing wage and hire all union contractors for this project. So that's the way the law requires us to bid these projects out. So under Public Works, I have, we will continue our beautification efforts to our primary business quarters on 173 and 251. I think those were priorities in previous years, hoping that you're pleased with the changes that have been made, but I'm assuming that will still be a priority for you all. Is that pretty accurate? Okay, very good. Also under Public Works, improving vehicle and equipment storage efficiencies at the Public Works building, establishing equipment and vehicle rotation replacement program to ensure that we have equipment that is cost effective to run. We have a truck, I think that's over 20 years old. Is that right, Mitch? It's an 02. And so at a certain point, these vehicles become more costly to own than upgrading or replacing them. So Mitch is all over that and going to help us be able to plan to make those improvements over the years. Under community development, all of our usual goals for an aggressive attraction strategy will be in play, and we will look to take advantage of some tools that are available to help us analyze customer data to understand who is shopping here, where are their needs, underserved or unserved needs in our area as it relates to retail and other service provision, and then of course go after those businesses to come to Machesney Park. So there are some tools that we can use. In fact, I think at a previous IML, several trustees had tipped us off to a couple of those service providers, and we've looked into them over the past year, and it looks like that they'd be advantageous to us. So you'll see those as we discuss them in our budget workshop. There are no significant changes to roads and infrastructure and legal department goals. So at this time, I'll turn it back to you for any feedback or questions or suggestions. We'd love the time to research those and bring anything back to you at the workshop meeting and on the 25th.
Any discussion, questions? Anyone? No? Okay. Hearing none, I guess public comment. No public comment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Sykes, second by Trustee Kidd. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.